Porsha, how you doing? Thank you so much for your post. Etsy, Mac, and Subway. This is a really good assignment to submit to get some feedback because there's a lot of times where students take a look at a logo and they want to redesign it for reasons. Now, don't forget, this assignment kind of points all the way through our final rebranding project here. So I just want to make some general points regarding rebranding itself. Now, basically, you wouldn't rebrand if the brand is doing its job. And I think in your first two examples, I think they are. I think the Etsy, I think it's an outstanding logo. I think it's very, very accessible. It's beautiful, small as it is large. It's contemporary. It's got a great color palette, and it's very, very, very recognizable. Okay, this brings me to the point that I want to make. In your writing, you're saying that maybe you could have a needle and a thread, and then over in a Mac, you're saying you could have a logo sitting in a mirror with a compact makeup item. Now, what you're saying here is that the logo should define what the organization does or the service they provide. Is that true? And I say no, it's not true. A logo should not tell the story of the organization. It's a visual identifier. Now, if you can create a logo that does have, kind of alludes to the function of the organization, that's great, but it is certainly not a reason to consider a redesign. Did you understand what I'm saying? And I think that's important. I think both the Etsy logo and the Mac logo I think is outstanding. I think it's fantastic. I've noticed this when my wife and I go to the mall and she wants to stop at the Mac counter. I'm always looking at this logo going, wow, that is so contemporary, almost cutting edge. And I think it's a great logo. And you're free to move in any direction you want, but I think that the attempt to rebrand an already outstanding logo is going to be a daunting task. Now, this logo, on the other hand, absolutely. I know you say you like this logo. I'm not crazy about it, never have been. I don't think it's effective at all. I think it's more confusing than anything else. And I like Subway. I like their meatball subs a lot. I eat them at least twice a month. Excuse me. So I'm really familiar with Subway in terms of their branding, their graphics, etc. Love their meatball sandwiches. Have you tried them? Try it. They're great. Anyway, so the thing is that the kind of this disconnect, okay? So we talk about leading lines, and you remember this through some of our discussions thus far in the class. We talk about leading lines and lines that allow us to assist the viewer to navigate through a specific composition. And a logo is certainly indicative of this. But the leading lines in this logo are one's pointing out of the logo, the other's pointing out of the logo in the other direction. So what this designer is basically saying is, hey, don't look at me, look over here and look over here. And I think I've always found it to be a very peculiar ad. I don't think it's effective. I don't think it's executed well. I don't think the composition or excuse me, one second. Sorry about that. I don't think the composition or the concept is executed very well at all. So I would say this is your answer. But again, as I said, please feel free to choose any of the three as your first choice. Okay, Porsha, and as I said, remember, this is all leading towards our final project. So if you have any questions at all, or if I can make any clarifications, don't hesitate to let me know, Porsha. I'll be glad to do so. All right, great. Thank you very much.